Welcome to another edition of the Insider Mailbag, brought to you by Red Raider Outfitter, the fans' favorite since 1975. I'm Jared Johnson, and we have a great round of questions once again this week from inside the Red Raider subscribers, so I'm going to dive right into them. First one comes from OBX Raider, who asks, he says, in your opinion, who are the top 3 recruits not committed that are visiting for Junior Day? Whew, that is a tough one. Well, I'm going to throw out the obvious. 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson. He is a terrific talent. Number 2 receiver in the country. One of the top prospects in the entire country. To land him would be huge, obviously just to get that talent in your program, but also in terms of sending a signal that even further proving that Joey McGuire, James Blanchard, the entire coaching staff are here to stay, and they're going to recruit on another level than what we've seen. Now, they've already proven that to a point, and they're on their way with the 2024 class for sure, being number 6 in the country. But, getting a 5-star guy, this type of dude, is different. So the fact that he's coming in on Junior Day is huge. He can go anywhere he wants to in the country. I know Ohio State and Texas are big on his list, but Tech is there. Tech has an opportunity with Micah, with this Junior Day and moving forward. So he's definitely got to be one. I think Nigel Smith, 4-star defensive lineman, is one of the top guys. I just really like his film. He's already a very physical player. And don't get me wrong, he could still develop, needs to add a little more weight, but he's already a big dude, very good player. That would be an amazing pickup to get Nigel Smith. Now, there's several guys I can name here, but one guy, and I'm going to mention him probably coming up here in another to answer another question, but Lufkin running back Keydron Young is a 4-star prospect. He's got 20 offers. Our own Steve Wilfong, national analyst, the head of college football recruiting for 24/7 Sports, interviewed him recently. He said he was really excited about Texas Tech. I really like the way he runs. Physical player, great vision, 5'10", 210, 215 pounds. He's already a big dude, but who can really run. Adding him to what's already a really nice backfield here in Lubbock would be huge, and especially in terms of, Texas Tech wants to be a physical team, a team that could, salt away victories, as Mighty Joe likes to say. Getting these physical running backs and just stockpiling them is going to be a huge part of that. All right, as promised, Raider Football 86 says, wants to know my prediction for the next football commitment. And that's pretty tough. I don't have a crystal ball prediction out there right now, but I do expect something to materialize from Junior Day. I'm going to stay with Keydron Young. I don't know that he's necessarily going to be next, but I think Texas Tech is in a really good spot with him. Like I said before, he has 20 offers, so he has a lot of choices. But in the interview with Steve Wilfong, he mentioned the culture at Texas Tech and how special it is. And, that's overplayed when you hear people talk about that. But in this case, it's true. I mean, I even talk about that with my colleagues in the media, just how easy it is to do business, for lack of a better term, with this staff. And it's not just McGuire or a James Blanchard or a Zach Keatley or whoever. It's the entire staff. They make it really easy for us to do our job and report on them. And they do that, it's not just with us, they do that with everybody. They're great with the fans, they're great with the recruits. They just have a great culture there right now. It's very positive. It's as positive as I've seen Tech football in such a long time. And so the recruits see that. They're looking for that kind of stuff, especially the smart ones. And I think Keydron Young is somebody to watch to commit. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the next commit, but I do think Tech has a good chance with him. All right, Texan, I love this question. Yeah, any updates on how Bryce Ramirez's recovery from his broken leg is going? Yeah, McGuire spoke to that. I don't remember if it was around signing day or what, but he said Ramirez is actually coming along. He's able to walk. They're hoping that he'll be available at some point next season, which sounds crazy to me because that was such a violent hit. That was such an ugly injury when he broke his leg there at the NC State game. And it was such a travesty because that was his first start. He was playing well. He was really coming on. And Bryce Ramirez is a guy that it doesn't seem to matter who the coaching staff is. They love this guy. And it's easy to see why. Former walk-on, making his way all the way to a starting gig in such an important position and playing well before suffering that really bad injury. the support he got, not just from Tech, but also NC State there, was really cool to see. It's one of the cool things of sports. And then just from all the fans, it's been great. There was actually Texas Tech recently posted, or somebody on Twitter related with Texas Tech, a video of Bryce lifting quite a lot of weight there in the weight room. I think he was benching. I can't remember exactly what he was doing, but it was a lot of weight. And it really shows he's coming on. And, what a great moment it will be when he does see the field. If he's able to see the field, if he's cleared and he's good to go, Coach McGuire and this staff, they're going to play him. And it's going to be, there's going to be some man tears involved to see this guy come back, because what a great story Bryce Ramirez is. Texas Tech Austin says he wants to know if I've ever seen a total about face in a team's trajectory, any team, this late in the season before, as we were witnessing with Tech basketball. Yeah, I was on Sirius Radio earlier this morning, and that was one of the main questions they asked me on Big 12 Radio. We had a nice 20-minute discussion. A lot of it was about the turnaround of this Texas Tech basketball team, and I'm going to be honest, I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. It's almost cinematic, and where it's like, if you watch it in a movie, you'd be like, this is unrealistic. This probably wouldn't happen in real life. But that's the great thing about sports and life, is the crazy happens. And we're seeing it with this basketball team. They lost, their first 8 Big 12 games at least before that improbable, just in itself, upset and comeback upset of Iowa State when Tech was down by 23 points with under 13 minutes to play. And, and then now look at them. They've won 5 of 7, 4 in a row. 3 wins over teams ranked in the top 13. They just won 2 games on the road and they've got themselves positioned to make the tournament. They really have a real legitimate opportunity now, and that seemed impossible. 3 weeks ago, a month ago? I've never seen anything like it. Not even as a fan. In my lifetime, I've never seen a turnaround in one season like this. But you got to say, Mark Adams said this team's going to be really great in February, which a lot of us scoffed at, including myself. It'll be too late. Well, it may not be too late. They win 2 of these final 3 games. They got TCU at home on Saturday, then at Kansas, and then they finish the season on March 4th against Oklahoma State. They can win 2 or 3 of those games, and then at least 1, if not 2, in the Big 12 tournament. I don't see how you keep them out. We'll have to see how all the conference championships play out and everything, and how many spots there are. But if you're looking at Tech and some other teams, and it's a coin toss, you got to go with Tech because of all the injury problems they've had and how hot they've been, and the fact they're doing this in the best conference in the country, which is the Big 12, of course, is amazing. So I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing, and I'm just glad I get to be here to discuss it with you all, watch it, all that, talk to the players involved, the people involved. So it's really exciting. Saddle Trip wants to know, this is a long question, but basically he wants to know, are all the offers that go out committable? That's basically what he's asking. It's a long question, but I'm not going to read all that. But it's a good question. No, not every offer is committable. Now, when they offer it, yeah, it's in good faith. They mean it when they offer. But first off, I don't believe the official offers go out until the prospects become seniors, like they start their senior year of school. Those dates change all the time. I believe that's still correct. But you look at Tech will offer 150 kids. Obviously, they can't sign 150 kids, but not all those kids are going to say yes to Texas Tech. And so let's say you cut that in half, which would have been cut it even more for previous coaching staff, to be quite honest. But let's say 75. Well, they can't sign 75. They have a 27 initial counter limit, and then they have their scholarship limit. So, in fact, this class, I know I've been told by a very good source that it's not going to be a full class. So I'm expecting closer to 20 signees than 25 from the high school ranks, just because they're starting to really fill out the roster and build up the roster. But a lot of times when they offer, say somebody early, or maybe even a year, they're offering 2025, 2026 guys right now. Not all those guys are those offers going to remain committable, but that's kind of the way it is. The same way a recruit can flip after being committed for 2 years from a school. So that's just part of the game. A good staff, a good coaching staff will communicate with a recruit exactly where they stand, almost all the time. that's not how it always happens. This staff is really good about that. From the feedback I've gotten from recruits, they're upfront and honest with these guys. Now, I have covered recruiting at Texas Tech before when kids called me crying, like, I haven't heard from the coaching staff, I can't get them on the phone, and I don't like that, and it's not even just Texas Tech, but just like other schools, like, can you help me out? And I'm like, man, that's not my role. I can reach out and see where you stand for you if they're ghosting you, but I hate that part of recruiting when kids get ghosted, whether they have an injury or bad season or the team goes a different way or whatever. I mean, I really believe you should be upfront and honest with these kids as much as you can in terms of and still play the game and have a competitive edge over your competitors who are going for these recruits. But that's a good question, and the truth is, no, not every offer is committable. Midnight Raider says, in the second half of the OU game, it looked like Amack twisted his foot or ankle. He hobbled around a few minutes and seemed okay. Is he injured at all after OU? How delicate is his healed foot? Is it something to be concerned about the rest of the season and postseason? Well, again, great questions. As far as I know, Amack's okay. He's expected to play against TCU on Saturday, which is a big deal because, I keep getting asked about why and how Texas Tech has turned things around. Well, Pardaw's Amack's a huge part of that. He changes a lot of things on both ends of the court. I've talked about it on the radio. I've talked about it in videos. I've written it down too in my in-game notes. He's the real deal. Now that he's healthier, he's not 100%, but he's definitely getting better all the time. And he had a strong finish to that game. I know sometimes things could swell up after, but I fully expect him to play Saturday, barring something, I don't know, like him slipping downstairs or something I don't know about. And, in terms of his foot, I think it is something to be concerned about because he's already re-injured and missed time after coming back once. So, it's definitely I'm not telling you to be worried, but I'm saying it is something to be concerned about because he plays such a pivotal role. And, I mean, just big guys in their feet anyways, they get hurt a lot in basketball. And it'd be a major blow to Texas Tech to lose Amack. So, hopefully he can stay healthy for him and for the team and all y'all and continue to play well, continue to get better. All right, final question comes from Shines in Texas too, who says, what do you think of the new Beavis and Butthead episodes on MTV? You know what? I watched Beavis and Butthead mostly with my dad when I was a kid back in the day, and I loved it. I love everything Mike Judge does. Office Space, Idiocracy is one of my favorites. But I haven't watched the new series. It's just hadn't been on my radar a whole lot. But I did, in reading this question, I looked up to see if Mike Judge is still involved, and he is. He's still, writing it and directing it and doing the voice acting. So that's probably something I'll check out here coming up soon. So thanks for reminding me that, and maybe I'll come back to this thread and post what I think about it. But I loved Beavis and Butthead just like most people out there when I was a kid and in the 90s back in the day. And it seems so 90s to me though, so it's kind of weird for it to be back. But again, big fan of Mike Judge, so I'll check it out. But hey, for now, great questions from y'all as always. I really appreciate it. And until next time.